listening to the testimony of Kay Woodcock, who is Charles Vallow's sister. Again, Charles Vallow is the victim in this trial. I was going to say this case, but trial, I guess same thing. And Lori Vallow is representing herself. Lori Vallow is going to be doing the cross-examination. And, you know, I looked into some little sneak peeks, and my hair gets a little bit spicy. And, you know, I hope Kay Woodcock puts Lori Vallow in her place. We're just going to be listening to Kay Woodcock's direct testimony and then cross-examination. And today, they actually don't have any court today. So the trial will resume back on Monday, Tuesday. I believe it's starting a little bit early at like 10 a.m. Although for us, since we're 30 minutes behind because it's like a stream, we'll probably be starting at 10:30. But then I usually like seeing who's going to testify for the day and then figure out from there. So hello, Taxi. How are you doing today? Wow, that font is very small. I can't really even see you. Let me make it a little bit bigger. And then also for those of you guys who missed the Lori Vallow trial this week, I think I will do a recap of it, possibly maybe tomorrow. And then as for the Coburger hearing that happened 2 days ago now, was it yesterday? 2 days ago. Was it 2 days ago? Fuck. I'm like, my days are all off. The Coburger hearing that happened, I think we'll do a recap of that as well if you guys missed out on that. Or if you did watch it and then you're like, I just want to recap. I just want to know what's going on, or I wasn't really paying attention because I had you playing in the background. So I believe we'll have some recaps done this weekend. And you know what? I completely forgot about my part 2 of the Italy vlog. It's completed. It's done. Everything. I just forgot to push it out. I feel like we're so busy with all the trial stuff that, yeah, I completely forgot. So Italy vlog part 2 should be coming out soon. And this is when we are, the first one was in Florence and now we're in Rome. So it's on the second channel at Hey Corgi-san. So feel free to check it out. But let's jump over to Kay Woodcock. She's going to be testifying on the stand. And I love how we're starting with the judge's face. Let me go to the judge really quick. Look at this judge. Apparently, there are some people that are sitting in the crowd that have been talking about the judge, and I think people like looking at the judge's face. All right, y'all. So we got Kay Woodcock, direct testimony. Oh, so yesterday, after we covered Serena Sharp, who was a former friend of Lori Vallow, things got kind of heated on the stand. After Serena Sharp did her testimony, there was a detective who testified. I think they talked about cell phone stuff. And then there was another person who testified. It was a forensic person who talked about like fingerprints and other stuff. So we didn't cover their testimony, but now I'm here for it for Kay Woodcock, which was a testimony that happened yesterday afternoon. Hello, Kay. How are you doing today? How's it going? How are you? All right. Thank you so much for joining us. And I think the volume should be good. Let me know if I need to adjust the volume or anything like that. All right, y'all? What is number?
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Kay Woodcock, Charles Vallow's younger sister.
How old are you?
How old am I today?
Today.
64.
And are you married?
Yes.
Where do you currently live?
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
I want to talk to you about your siblings. You told us that you are Charles' sister. How many siblings were there in your family?
6.
And where did Charles fall into that?
He was number 3.
Who are the other siblings?
My oldest sister, Terry, then my next sister, Susan, then Charles, then Jerry, then me, then Bobby.
Wow. That's a lot
And
of
where
kids.
did you guys grow up?
We're in Lake Charles.
Okay. Were you close with your brother?
Yes, I was.
Did you know his wife, Lori Vallow?
Yes, I do.
Can you point her out in the courtroom and tell us what she's wearing?
She's the defendant over there in the black jacket.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant.
Oh, yes. So Kay says this trial has gone much faster than I expected. Yeah, they are speeding on through. Nate Eaton, it was Justin Lum who tweeted this, I think, yesterday. So it seems like we're going through it pretty quickly. We got settlement status, plea offer, no offer, good. Settlement conference occurred, no. Are the defendant and the state willing to further discuss settlement? No. Number of juror trials and alternates, we got 12 plus 4, but we already lost, I think we already lost 2 already, I think. Here's a list of potential witnesses. So here's the states. Daniel Coons already testified. Nathan Duncan, not sure. Marissa Francisco testified yesterday. Jason Hunsaker, not too sure. Wait, who testified over here again? It was, William McDonald. Okay. William McDonald. So I don't think Nathan Duncan testified yet. I don't think Jason Hunsaker testified yet. Robert Crothheim testified. William McDonald testified. Nathan Moffat, we've heard his name a lot, but I don't think he's testified yet. Ariel Werther, I don't think testified yet. Erwin Wurzbicki, I think they testified. And then Cassandra Incline, I don't think they testified yet. And then Chandler Fire Department, Kent Keller testified. Scout Cowden testified. Department of Public Safety, Jeff Moberg, I don't think testified. ME hasn't testified yet. Dr. Eric Baumgardner. And then there's an Office of Inspector General, Mark Sorry. I don't think they testified yet. Then we got Banner Life Insurance. Remember, Banner Life Insurance is the insurance company that Charles had insurance with, where if something were to happen to him, the beneficiary would get not $100 million, would get $1 million. Lori Vallow thought it was going to be her. And then when Charles died, she called Banner Life Insurance and she tried to claim the life insurance money. They were like, no, first of all, you're not the beneficiary. And she was pissed. She was pissed. She went through Charles's laptop to figure out who the fuck it was changed to. And then in terms of civilians, I think we went through all of them already. Christina Atwood was the former friend who also attended the women's get-together. Adam Cox, Lori Vallow's brother, testified yesterday. Nancy Jo Hancock, she was the one who testified, I think, about 2 days ago. She went on a date with Charles Vallow the night before he was murdered. Serena Sharp testified yesterday, and that's when things were getting a little bit heated between... Well, honestly, I don't think Serena Sharp was getting heated. I think it was just all one-sided coming from Lori Vallow, to be honest. And then we got Kay Woodcock. We have estimated trial day, 5 days. So I don't know. We will see. Maybe Lori Vallow has a shit ton of people on her witness list, but I don't know. But yeah, we seem to be moving pretty quickly. I feel like the state, depending on how long some of these experts, the medical examiner might take. I think, I don't know, maybe the state can be finished with their case like by the end of next week or something, or beginning of 2 weeks. Huh. You want to just an advice, keep her mouth shut for some of the people. Like, hey, she's got all the dirt. Kay has said some stuff on the stand where apparently the jury looked at Lori. So I wonder if they're looking at her because they want to get a reaction out of her, or if they were like disgusted with her, or, you know, maybe some feelings towards Lori. But apparently, the jury was like looking at Lori like, I'll see if I can pull those tweets up. All right, so going back to this.
Good job.
I want to talk to you sort of about Lori and Charles. Were you at their wedding?
No, they went to Las Vegas.
Do you recall what year they got married?
2006.
Did they have a reception that?
I don't know if that's what you'd call it, but there was a family gathering in March of 2006 at a ranch in near Austin, Texas, that we all went to.
Okay, kind of to celebrate that.
Yes.
Had your brother Charles been married before?
Yes.
Did he have any children from his prior marriage?
Yes.
How many?
2.
And who were they?
Cole Vallow and Zach Vallow.
And did you know if Lori had any children from a prior marriage?
Yes. Colby Ryan and Tylee Ryan.
When Lori and Charles got married, did Charles's 2 sons live with them?
Live with Charles and Lori?
Yeah.
No.
Did they stay with their mother?
Yes, they did. They visited, but they never lived there.
Where were they? Was that in Arizona or still in Texas?
In Austin.
I want to ask you sort of some of the ages of the children involved. In July of 2019, was Tylee still a minor?
Yes.
So she was still living with them.
Yes.
In July of 29, do you know if Colby was still a minor?
Yes. Oh, wait, no, Colby was not.
He was an adult.
Oh yeah, I had the ages all confused. So JJ was 7 at this time, 7 when he was murdered as well, and then Tylee, I thought she was 17, but she was actually 16.
He was an adult.
And in July of 2019, were Charles's 2 sons, Cole and Zach, still minors or adults?
They were adults.
Okay. Did Charles and Lori have any children together?
They adopted my grandson, JJ.
And can you tell us how that worked out?
The way Lori continues to make comments after questions is insane. Yeah, the judge is being really lenient on her. And then she's like, oh, sorry, I won't do it again, but then keeps doing it. Hey, Pickleball Paul, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for popping in. Appreciate you being here.
how that worked out,
Or
meaning
how did they get involved in adopting your grandchild?
Charles approached me about it one day. He called, and I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on then, and that was my son's child, and there was a lot going on. So I just told him then, look, I can't make a decision like that. We don't know how this is going to go. Just well, just keep me in mind, keep it in mind, and so I kept it in mind.
And do you recall, when did they adopt JJ?
It was final in July of 2014.
How old was he then?
He was 2.
Did JJ have any special needs?
Yes, he was autistic, and he was born 10 weeks premature.
Okay.
That's right, because I remember I was really confused about the family tree sometimes. So remember, this is Charles's sister, younger sister. Her son had a baby, and that is a son that is JJ, and Charles adopted JJ. So I remember now, JJ is considered Charles' great nephew. Great nephew. All right, we're learning family tree stuff.
So he took a little extra care.
He did, absolutely.
Do you recall, so if he was 2 and they adopted him, how old was he in July of 2019?
He was 7. We spent his 7th birthday together in Lake Charles.
So in July of 2019, to your knowledge, Lori and Charles still had 2 children under the age of 18 with them, Tylee and JJ?
Yes,
So if in July of 2019, Lori Vallow was saying she had 5 kids she was taking care of, you were unaware of the other 3?
there were not 5 there, no. There were 2.
Can you tell us about the relationship between Charles and JJ?
Charles was the best dad. I mean, he was always doting on him. The arrangement I figured out eventually was that if Charles was working out of town, Lori had him all by herself, and so when Charles got back to town, JJ was his to take care of, 100%.
Would Charles bring JJ to visit your side of the family in Louisiana?
Oh yes,
Did you regularly see him?
yes. Once JJ learned how to fly, and excuse me, I need water. Once JJ learned how to fly, and that because he was autistic, something like that is a big deal for him, and he loved it. So he was a little flyer. He loved to go in the airplane.
What did your brother Charles do for a living?
He sold annuities. He was a financial planner.
And
This is all spectacle for Lori. She knows she's doomed to life behind bars. This is all her chance to dollar for days out trips, that and authority to question people. Yeah. Lori has nothing better to do. Honestly, like for her to drag this on, she has no reason to make it quick and snappy. She's already fucked for life.
how long did you know him to do that?
If I had to guess, 20 years, I guess.
Did he work for others or have his own business? What do you recall?
He had his own business.
Had he previously any times ever worked for others?
Yes.
I haven't seen any footage of Lori cross-examining Kay Woodcock, but I do wonder if it's going to be what the aura is going to be like. Is Lori going to be kind of like compassionate because, of what happened to JJ? JJ's like technically also her grandson, or is Lori going to go guns blazing, accusatory? I wonder what the tone is going to be. Unhinged?
But in July of 2019, he had his own business.
Yes.
Did he have a business partner?
He did, yes.
Did his job require him to travel a lot?
He did. He would be gone 3 or 4 days a week on average. Sometimes he didn't have to travel, but he was just, but yeah, he would be gone 3 or 4 days a week when he would be working.
I want to ask you a little bit about Charles. Was he sort of a meticulous person when it came to paperwork?
Oh, yes. I mean, when you're doing that type of work, you have to be meticulous and methodical, and you can't make any errors. You can't miss a dot or crossing a T because it will get kicked back to you, and then it just causes a lot of delay and a lot of trouble. So he was actually, he said, there was never anybody I've ever trusted to do this for me. And I was like, well, I'll do it for you because,
All right, we'll stop here.
yeah.
So when Charles was working as financial planner, do you know if he had Lori help him with any part of his job?
I don't really know exactly what she did, but yes,
Okay.
but I don't know what she did.
Prior to Charles
Lori said she was a hairstylist. I don't know. Was Lori really a hairstylist?
being a financial advisor, did he have a very different career in sports?
Oh, he quit, I don't remember because I was quite young then, but he did, I believe he was drafted in the early 70s into the Houston Astros minor league.
So when you were growing up, did you see your brother playing baseball?
I was raised at a baseball field. If it wasn't Charles, Jerry played for years, my other brother, but Charles stuck with it, and that's how he got to college with a degree, with a scholarship.
Lori flat out said in her most recent interview she wanted to confront people who have been lying about her, but she lost her steam with most of them since there were no lies and it made her look bad. I feel like Lori, when she was gaining some steam in her questioning, she would lose track of her thoughts and be like, wait, what the fuck was I doing again? What was I saying again? I don't know. Because apparently during jury voir dire, when she was questioning the jury, she would get kind of like heated up. And then she kind of just like died down really quickly. And people are like, what the fuck is going on with Lori? I am definitely seeing that during the cross-examinations. Corgi, I think she saw your stream for that one day about one dangling curl. The next day she had more. I don't know. Let's trigger them more. That's how she met the ex-husband and father of Ty Lee, cutting his hair. Oh, Mr. Ryan. Tylee's dad is also dead. Pattern. I don't know much about her previous ex-husbands. I know that Tylee was with a guy with the last name Ryan, and then Colby was before. I think that was like the second husband, maybe. I don't know anything about the first husband, or maybe Colby was with the first husband. I'm not too sure.
So you got stuck many a night and a weekend having to be at the ball field with your brother.
Yes.
What position did your brother play?
He was a pitcher. He was very, very good. He was a left-handed pitcher, and they're very hard to hit against.
Okay, left-handed pitcher. Because remember, Lori is disputing that. Lori is saying that, like, yes, he was a left-handed pitcher, but he batted with the right. I'm sure his sister, Kay Woodcock, would probably know more. Let's see what Kay says. Does he bat with the left or does he bat with the right? Because in the crime scene, it seems to have been set up that the bat was found on the right side. And they're saying that that's completely wrong. Charles wouldn't bat with the right side. He's completely left-handed. But I want to see what Kay Woodcock says about that.
Did he bat right or left-handed?
He was left-handed.
Did he do everything left-handed?
Yes.
Right, left-handed? After your brother, well, let me ask you, do you know how long he played in the semi-pro?
I don't. He had moved to Houston, and but he blew out his knee, and that's ended that right there.
Did your brother stay in shape after that, even though he blew out his knee?
Oh yes, he was always doing something. Always bike riding, hiking, just anything.
That's crazy. Living in places like Arizona or like Texas, or I don't know if Charles really lived in Arizona. I think he was just there that one time. But like living in these places that are really hot and then like you're really active, Jesus. I can't imagine being active if I lived in like Las Vegas or Arizona. Oh man, or like Houston, Texas. It's just too hot, too humid. Oh boy. Or it's like, if it's not that, then it's like really cold. I don't know. That's tough. Many people believe Ty's dad was also murdered. What? He was found decomposing in the apartment? I didn't hear anything about that. Was he alone, living alone, and then maybe like something happened to him and that's why he was decomposing in the apartment? Was there any life insurance? Was there any life insurance involved? Did Lori get any money from his death? Hey, Neko, how are you doing today? Case cross with Lori was something. Yeah, apparently after the direct examination, and they were like, okay, well, cross-examination. Apparently, Kate Woodcock was like, oh boy. She's like, oh, bring on the shit show.
Gym, he was very active.
So every time you saw him, he was taking care of himself.
Yes.
All I want to ask you a little bit about religion. Did your family grow up in the LDS church or faith?
No, we did not.
That's what I was wondering, actually. I was wondering if she was also part of LDS. Right. That's what I was thinking, too. Used to work in minor league baseball. Very easy to verify if it was left already, batting in games, stats from the past, all databases were filled with info like that. With scouting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. That should be out there somewhere. Or, like, sometimes they do, like, the pictures and they pose and stuff like that. You can see, like, which side they were, like, batting with. Or if there's any videos of Charles playing. I feel like this could be easily verified. But no. Lori's like, no, he pitched with the left, but he just somehow batted with the right, even though he was left-handed for everything else. It's like...
Did you know Charles to ever convert to the LDS faith?
He did at some point during his marriage to Lori.
Okay.
Wait, really? Did he convert because of Lori? I have questions.
When Lori and Charles were married, did they always live in one state or did they move?
No, they lived here in Phoenix, in the Phoenix area, Chandler, Gilbert, and then they moved to Hawaii in 2014, and then they moved back late 2016 or early 2017.
Back to,
Back here to Phoenix area.
do you recall where they were, what state they were in when they met?
When Charles and Lori met,
Yeah.
they were in Texas.
Texas, okay.
Jeez. Hot.
In 2018 and 19, you told us that Charles and JJ would come visit you and the family regularly.
Yes,
In March of 2018, did you have a member of your family pass away?
yes, my mother did in March of 18.
Did Charles come out for that?
Yes, he did. He was there for her services. Lori was not, and we felt like something was going on. Well, actually, my husband felt it before I did, and then when she didn't show for my mother's funeral, I just thought that was just appalling. It appalled me that she wouldn't even come to something like that with her husband.
What was your relationship?
Question. For those of you guys who followed the other case, do you guys remember timelines? When do we think Lori started cheating with Chad? Was it in 2018? And then it kind of bled into 2019, or was it like beginning of 2019? Because there was an email apparently that was sent from Charles's email to Chad. Someone was pretending to be Charles, was like, hey, I would love for you to write a book about my life. And I wonder if that was Lori or what. What a weird fucking thing. Lauren, hello. Candace, is he converted to LDS for her? I had no idea. Lauren says Alex Cox did 3 months in prison for attacking Joe Ryan and threatening to kill him. You know what? I think you just unlocked an old memory that I have. I feel like I remember hearing something about that. Jeez. Tylee Ryan got paid by Social Security, and I believe she also got widow's payment because of his death. She also wanted him out of her life and apparently accused him of SA Tylee and Colby. Okay, I feel like we're digging into like another can of worms. I don't know if I heard about that. Jeez. Because I feel like, wasn't that debunked? Jeez. Yeah, I feel like I maybe heard about that. But then I think that ended up not being true, but I'm not too sure. Oh, really? Colby said that he did. Oh, gosh. Well, fuck that guy then. They publicly threatened to off Joe Ryan as well. I mean, he sounds like a really fucking shitty person. Paul, yes, he's fighting for the custody of Tylee, and that's why he died, in my opinion. You gotta be some sort of like woman for me to change my religion or core beliefs. I mean, Lori, I think she was kind of top tier for master manipulation, man. But I don't know if Lori was always a manipulator back then. I remember we listened to the interview of Lori's cousin, who seemed to say that Lori was kind of always like that, trying to get what she wanted from the get-go. But yeah, I don't know if Lori was like already like batshit crazy from like way beginning, or if she just got a lot crazier and more delusional as she started talking with Chad. Ty's father was also attacked by Alex in the parking lot. A lot of transfer of Tile as ordered by the court. Transfer of what now? All right, guys, let's listen to this.
That with her husband.
What was your relationship like with Lori?
Because of the work I did, the company we owned, I was on the phone an extreme amount of time, all the time. So I really don't like to call people. I'm not a phone person. I'll text you all day long, but I really don't like to talk. And so Lori and I never really had a big phone relationship. It was a text here and there, but mostly Charles would keep me up to date as to different things that were going on, or what they were up to, and or Charles would call.
Yeah, there's just so many things that I forgot about that case. Number one reason, I remember her getting rid of JJ's service dog that like he fucking loved. I didn't know about number two, Lori FedExing Charles's ashes to Kay Woodcock. I didn't know about that. Hey Brian, hi Sheena, how are you doing today? Hey Karen.
Were going on, or what they were up to, but mostly Charles would keep me up to date as to different things that were going on, or what they were up to, and or Charles would call. Yeah, Charles would call me mostly.
So it sounds like you weren't close with her.
When Lori and I were together, it was like we hadn't missed a minute. We just took up where we left off, and she's very outgoing, and she's very friendly and very easy to talk to, and so we got along rather well, and I loved her.
Okay. So continuing in 2018, do you recall seeing Charles and JJ coming out to visit you guys in October of 2018?
Yes,
What was that for?
just a weekend visit.
Okay. What about in November of 2018? Did you see Charles and JJ then?
We did. My husband and myself and my granddaughter, we went to Las Vegas, and Charles and JJ met us there for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. I thought that was odd. He wasn't with his family. He said Lori was sick, or Tylee was sick, is what he told us. But he just wouldn't share what all was going on at that point. Then when he finally did, he unloaded it all.
Hey Shanzo.
So in 2018, did you have any idea there were any, let me say this, in 2018, did you have some concerns about their relationship?
Yes, it was, for him to come as often as they were coming, was odd, and he was just unsettled, and we knew something was going on, but he would never say.
Okay.
So he talked to us when he was ready.
When we get into 2019, did you start to see your brother more?
Yes.
First, without going into what Charles said, did you
Oh, sorry, I forgot to put the captions on. The captions are on now in case anyone needs them.
ever become aware finally that his marriage with Lori was in trouble?
Yes, I did.
In 2019, again, without going into what Charles said, did you ever believe that Charles was concerned for his safety?
Charles was absolutely concerned for his safety. Lori had sent me a text, I think it was on a Thursday, that she and Charles were fighting because of some stuff she came up with, and that she and JJ and Tylee were at a hotel. Well, I guess Tylee was, I'm not sure. And because she didn't want to have any fighting, so they went to a hotel. And I came out. I knew Charles the next day. That's when she sent it to me. And then I just really I didn't call Charles. I knew he'd call me, and he sure enough did. And he was a mess. And so I flew out the next day out here to help him with JJ, and just to come and talk to him and see what was going on. He was alone, and Lori's family turned their backs on him and JJ. Okay.
Let's just kind of break it all down.
All right.
Break it down,
Now
yeah.
you got a lot that you remember.
Has Lori family members, have they ever done any interviews? I know there's Summer. I think Summer was the one that was like really outspoken about Lori. I think Summer was the one who testified at Lori Vallow's trial, and I think That was the one that made me really sad because she was basically pleading with her sister, like, where are the kids? And then Lori's just like in La La Land, just not getting through her whatsoever. I think it was like summer, and then when Colby was trying to figure out what was going on as well. And Lori was just downplaying fucking everything. But the name Summer rings a bell.
So you said that you got a text from Lori indicating that she and JJ and Tylee were at a hotel. And then you said that Charles then called you maybe the next day,
Yeah,
and you came out here to Arizona.
yes.
When you came out here to Arizona, did you become aware at that point that there was a big problem now with their relationship?
There was a huge problem now with their relationship.
And during this time when you had come out here, do you remember approximately when that was?
It's like the 1st of February of 2019, or the 2nd. It was right in there.
When you came out here, did
Yes, Colby Ryan has a YouTube channel, and then I think he also has a podcast as well, or maybe multiple podcasts.
you then speak with Charles about his concerns for his safety? Just yes or no?
About his what?
His concerns for his safety.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's just yes. Is this the time where, well, let me ask it this time. When you came out here, did you see Lori?
No,
When you came out here, did anyone know where Lori was?
no, nobody was talking about where she was. Nobody would tell Charles where she was.
So your brother was trying to find where she was?
Yes, he was.
Where was JJ at this time?
He was with Charles, and that's what one of the reasons I came out was to help him with JJ, because he was quite a handful, and Charles was a mess. He was broken. He was a broken-hearted man.
So you come out here, Charles has JJ. Where's Tylee? Do you know?
She's, as far as we knew, she was staying at Lori's brother's. That's what we knew then.
Okay. Did you have any interaction with her?
No.
How long did Charles have JJ where he's looking for Lori and can't find her?
Well, that portion of the time was 58 days, and I knew how many days it was because every day Charles would say something. He would
58 days? Where the fuck was Lori just with Chad the entire time? Lori missing 58 days, and then like none of the family members would tell Charles what was going on. Jesus. Kobe talks about her on his YouTube channel. He was at court yesterday. Yes, he was at court yesterday. Said Lori looked like she was shaking when she was questioning Kay. He's a sweetheart. No, I have not heard Alex's ex-wife's call to the Chandler police. What was the call about? Yeah, if you're in the Discord, post a call in there, please. If there's any other information about this case that you guys want to share, post in the Discord. We do have a true crime section. Summer is the youngest. I think they talked about this when Adam Cox is testifying. Let me see if I can find it. There's Stacy, Alex, Lori, and Summer. I'm assuming maybe they went in chronological order. Wait, no. Because wait, hold on a second. Is Alex older? No, Alex is Lori's younger brother, right? I think Alex is younger. Maybe this wasn't in chronological age order. Hey, Marie, how are you doing today? How's it going? We're just in direct examination with Kay Woodcock, and she's just getting into some of the arguments between Lori and Charles Vallow. And apparently right now, the timeline, we're in February 2019, where Lori disappears for like 58 days, and Charles has no idea where the fuck she is, and the family members won't tell her. Okay, so Janice, Adam, Megan, and Uncle, they all have done interviews.
tell me.
So he was counting them.
He would count. Portion of the time was 58 days, and I knew how many days it was because every day Charles would say something. He would tell me.
So he was counting them.
He would count them.
Were you out here the whole time? What'd you do?
I could work remotely at the time, so I did stay out here a lot, often, but I would fly back. I was back and forth between Louisiana and here from February until the end of March, because at that point, we moved Charles to Houston.
So the end of March, you said you were moving Charles to Houston, was that with JJ?
Yes,
Why are you helping him move to Houston?
because Charles told me that Lori did not want JJ anymore, or Kylie, or him. And I said, okay, well, look, what if you move to Houston and I'll be 2.5 hours away, and when you go out of town, I'll come and stay with JJ. And so he was talking about hiring a nanny, and I said, no, I will be the nanny, and I'll come and take care of him when you have to work. And it's easy enough, and you won't have to pay a penny.
Oh my God, that's so sad. Imagine adopting a kid together and then having a kid from a different marriage, and then the mom's like, I don't want any of these kids. I wonder how that conversation went. Now, I wonder if Lori could have objected for hearsay. But man, that's so sad for JJ.
So when Charles has JJ, you're helping take care of JJ in this time period in February and March.
Yes.
What about Charles's business? Did you help with that at all?
Yes, I had to get my arms around the whole thing. All the payments that needed to be made, the accounts, the emails, all that stuff you have to change over and change the password and all that, so Lori couldn't access it any longer.
You said you had your own job. What were you doing at that time in addition to helping your brother?
My husband and I owned a coastal crew change. It was a transportation company for the offshore oil and gas and LNG industry.
Okay.
Coastal
So
crew change.
you're trying to work that job and help Charles with his business.
Yes, I had a really great assistant who helped me an awful lot.
Do you remember when you were packing up to move Charles to Houston?
Yes.
You there?
I was there.
Did Lori show back up?
She did. I was in the pantry in the kitchen, packing up the pantry, and I don't know what, just something caught my attention, and I walked out and she was standing there. She had her back to me. Charles was sitting at the table on his phone, and he obviously didn't realize that she was there. And then finally, when he hung up, he looked up and there she was, and he started crying, and she started yelling
What?
Do you recall what she was yelling about?
that, why did you take JJ? Why did you take JJ? Why did you take him out of school? Why are you moving? What are you doing? All this is your fault. It was just ridiculous.
So she'd been gone for,
She fucking disappeared for 58 fucking days. She was probably like, with Chad. I didn't want to think Lori and Chad together. I just want to vomit. Lori just comes sweeping on in as if she actually fucking cares.
for 58 days, leaving.
No contact whatsoever.
Right.
And-
Not even like checking up on the kids or anything like that. Whoa, sorry. She had Ty Lee with her, right? Did she dip out with Ty Lee? And then, yeah, I think she left with Ty Lee. And then Charles was with JJ. You're right-handed, but you play left-handed hockey. How did that end up happening? How did you end up playing left-handed hockey when you were right-handed the entire time? So interesting. She literally abandoned them, refused to answer any of their calls. And it's their fault. Yeah. Manipulator, gaslighter. Colby calls Chad Peter Griffin. Okay, I did see someone say that in the chat, and I can't unsee it because I do see the Peter Griffin. Do I think any of the facts in Kay Woodcock's testimony surprised Lori? I think, I don't know. I wish we can see more of Lori. One of the correspondents was like, hey, camera guy, when there's direct testimony, can you zoom into Lori sometime? Just, once in a while, maybe just so we could see her, maybe back of the head / reaction. I don't know if we could really see much. I think we just see the back of her head, but maybe we could see, apparently she shakes her head and nods a lot. There was this courtroom observation. Okay, let's see. Pretty Lies and Alibi says, Lori is writing a lot with Kay on the stand. Lori is shaking her head no a lot as Kay Woodcock is testifying. She's also writing a lot. Lori is writing in her death notebook right now. Just writing away. When Kay said, okay, no, that's not, that's cross examination. All right, anything else? Oh, I do want to watch this. That's Colby right there. Okay. Those are 2 tabs we'll take a look at.
Then she shows up at the house when you guys are moving out.
Did you take him out of school? Why are you moving? What are you doing? All this is your fault. It was just ridiculous.
So she'd been gone for 58 days, leaving,
No contact whatsoever.
and then she shows up at the house when you guys are moving out.
Yeah.
What was Charles's like demeanor reaction? You said he was crying?
He was at first, but then he was just trying. Charles was a very soft-spoken man, and he was just trying to get a word in edgewise. And finally, Lori settled down a little bit, and they went and they talked for a while in the living room, or the I guess it's like a great room, and then they moved to the bedroom to talk. And I could still hear every now and then Lori would get a little loud, but they were talking. And then I remember that Lori came, let's see, I was sitting at the dining table, and she stood next to me and she said, "I love you, KK." And I said, "Well, I love you too. I'm sorry this is happening." And she cried. And I didn't know what to do, really. So, I mean, I just was there. And then she walked off, and
What? That's so bizarre. I wonder if she was just trying to interact with Kay, just to maybe try to get Kate on her side. Like, okay, I'm just making sure we're allies, right? We're allies, right?
the next day she came. I don't know who came, but they got Tylee's belongings out of the casita where all of Tylee's belongings were. And I don't remember if she got anything of hers. I really don't remember.
Okay. So are we now,
Wait, does Lori have a stun belt? I don't know anything about that. I know sometimes they might give the defendant like some like shackles or like the stun belt or the shock shackles things or type of stuff like that. But I don't know if Lori has it. Renee says, "I love how Lori's right there and they're talking like she's not. Haha, I'm surprised her stun belt didn't self-combust." Most left-handed and athletes are ambidextrous and diving form. Oh, that's really cool. I'm actually trying to learn how to use my left hand more. So there's one thing that I wanted to do where I would do my makeup faster. So I was trying to do my makeup with both my left and right hand. That's the way I could do it at the same time. And I was like, that would take half the time to do your makeup. And then I started brushing my teeth with my left hand just because for fun. And I didn't realize, have you guys ever tried brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand? It's actually really fucking hard because you haven't really mastered like the ultra fine motor skills, I guess. So like trying to like do it like really gently and then like not like, yeah, it's hard.
talking at the beginning, end of March, beginning of April of 2019, when Charles is moving back to Houston?
Yes.
Did he bring JJ with him?
Yes. Well, in order for me and Charles to move in, Larry, I flew out here and brought JJ back to Louisiana with me. And then my husband, Larry, kept him for a week while I flew back here to help Charles pack and then drive back to Houston.
All right, so
Hey,
you guys
go
rented
Lucky.
a big truck and drove it?
He drove the U-Haul, I drove his pickup.
All right. When you and Charles got to Houston, then did your husband bring JJ back?
Yes, he did.
Through all of this time with Charles when he was looking for Lori while she was gone for those 58 days, did he still want Lori to be part of JJ's life?
He did. He never was trying to take that away from Lori, even though Lori didn't want him anymore. I still didn't. I never really understood that, but I guess he was just hoping for the best. But yes, he absolutely wanted her to be part of his life, Lori's life.
That's so sad. Imagine being 7 years old and you're like not wanted. And especially Lori's like basically his mom. You know, Lori adopted him since he was 2 years old. You worked in dentistry for years, so I brush my teeth with both hands. When you use one hand, it's hard to get in all the angles. Yes, that's what I was thinking about too. I was thinking about hoping that I can get better angles if I use my other hand. Yes, that was the other thing. When you use one, it's hard to get in all the angles. I've seen too many people who miss whole areas brushing their teeth. Yes, I thought about that too.
So once Charles moved to Houston, did Lori ever also move out there?
I don't know if you call it moved out there, but she did. She came that day on March 28th. Charles said, look, we're moving to Houston. You're welcome to come. I'll fly you out Sunday. And she said, no, I'm busy. I have a project or something she was doing in Hawaii. She said, it'll be about 2 weeks and I'll be in Houston.
She had a project. Were her and Charles trying to write a book together? Were they trying to co-author?
So whatever she did, she was gone for 2 weeks, 2 more weeks. It was a total of 72 days, I believe, she was gone altogether. And then she was there. She and Tylee moved in at Charles's, and Charles said that she slept in JJ's room with him.
Aww. Brian, thank you so much for the 49 super chat. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Now, thank you. You always watch from the bushes. I want to take that phrase. Thank you so much, Lauren. That's really kind of you. Thank you. We trying over here. Yeah, that's super sad. I don't know. Kay has had time to process all this, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point she might even break down on the stand, because the whole thing is just really sad to talk about. So sad with Tylee, but like when I don't know, when I think of JJ, like JJ was just so young, you know? He was just so young. And then his main protector, Charles, was gone. And then he was with fucking batshit Lori and Chad, who didn't want him. And then Alex Cox, who was a shitty uncle, and then only did what Lori wanted.
So the first 2 weeks when Charles and JJ are in Houston without Lori, were you ever there to help with JJ and Charles's business?
No, Lori was there. I guess JJ was
before she moved there. The 2 weeks.
I think.
Or did you?
I had to go home for a little while, but Charles came like the weekend, and, so if I wasn't here, he was there.
Okay. So once you drove him there, you may have stayed to help him, and then you went home.
Yeah.
And you weren't there when Lori came to Houston.
No.
You told us that you had been helping your brother with his business, and I think you'd said something about changing passwords.
Yeah.
Was that to different financial accounts?
Right. Credit card, bank, stuff like that. Yeah, the password to Google, the password to,
All the things you use for business.
Yeah, yes.
And so when you started helping him, you had changed a lot of those passwords.
Yes.
At some point, did you become aware that, or at some point, did Charles stop asking you to help him with the business?
He did, and that's when Lori came back.
Okay. Now, you said that your brother worked in annuities, right?
Yes.
Right, that last part of the time when you were working with him up through sort of the end of March, beginning of April, were you aware of Charles coming into a large amount of money?
He was receiving an annuity, what do you call it? I can't think of the word right now, but he was receiving like $125,000 check for his commission for annuities, and Lori obviously knew that because she was there just a few days before that came into the bank. That was deposited into the bank. I had access to the bank, so I would watch that.
Okay. So even though Lori came back, you still had the passwords to look into Charles's account?
Yes.
You know what I loved about the Lori Vallow case was Lori Vallow's attorneys basically just echoing what a useless piece of shit Chad was. And how they kept comparing Chad to Charles. I think there was like Charles applied for something where basically they check your income and then your credit score and all that stuff. And Charles made like a pretty significant amount of money. And then they were comparing that to Chad, a guy who was, barely selling books and trying to, get these group of women to worship him and be part of their little fucking cult or whatever the fuck it is, with Lori being the little sidekick. But I just thought it was so funny just to see Lori's attorneys just basically shitting on Chad, because I knew Lori, she was not happy. Okay, she was not happy with that, but they were, they were representing her, and I'm sure she had a lot of things to say to her attorneys. But man, it was just so great just to see them shit on Chad. Even Daryl Brooks, I thought Daryl Brooks did have the shock shackles. I thought that was like the whole meme about it, or were they threatening him with the shock shackles? Chad was a chosen one who had a direct connection to Jesus Christ and God himself. Every time when I watch Family Guy. Every time I watch Family Guy. Law student? No. I am not a law student. Didn't Chud barely bring in 10K for his books? I don't know. I don't remember, but I just remember the books weren't really selling. If I ever see Chad's book at a thrift store, I might browse through it because I am a little bit curious, but yeah. Because I think he wrote a lot of books. It wasn't just like one or two. I think he wrote like 5, 10 books or something like that.
Do you know how long Lori stayed in Texas with Charles?
It's like she wasn't there the entire time, but I mean, she was always traveling through May. I'll say towards the end of May. I'm not for sure exactly what day.
Okay. So at some point, a couple months later, you become aware that she has left Houston.
Yes.
Did you know where she went?
Yeah, she was back back here.
Did you know, did JJ come with her when she moved back here to Arizona?
He did.
And did you know, did your brother move back here?
No, he did not.
And with your access to the finances, were you aware whether or not Charles was paying for a house here in Arizona for Lori and JJ?
I really don't recall seeing that transaction. I really don't, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. At that time, I was selling my company, and so I had a lot.
Selling your company. Good for her. Hey, I don't know if it's pronounced. Is it Elena? Lawyer here. What is so striking about these pro se trials is that prosecutors get away with so much in taking testimony. Yes. That's why I was wondering if the consults that are next to Lori, do they just not give her, like, they not help her throughout, or do they only help her if she asks? Because I would imagine, they would be whispering like, hey, you should object hearsay. But, we're getting all this hearsay, but maybe Lori is just, maybe Lori wants to know what's being said. But yeah, basically getting away with all the hearsay, so many objections that could be made. No, he said he had shackles, but he was, was he like, I don't remember. The Darryl Brooks thing was such a meme. I don't remember what's true anymore. I heard a couple of his books that other YouTubers read. They're not good. Sounds like a 12-year-old wrote them, probably why he had to self-publish. Listen, we read the Jodi Hildebrandt book, and that was just like a fucking diary. We read bits and pieces of Courtroom Becky from the Murdoch trial. She was a clerk, yeah. That felt like reading a teenage diary as well. Yeah, there is these. I got Wendy's book. I don't know where the fuck it is though. But we have Wendy Adelson's book, and we got some books that I want to read sometime soon. But I can't believe it. Wendy Adelson's book is actually a book that they use for one of like the law classes, I think, at Florida University or University of Florida. Oh, interesting.
A lot going on at that time, and that's when it was really getting, the due diligence. The company was doing their due diligence, so I had to provide a lot of information for them, and so it really was perfect timing because then I got super busy with my company, and I didn't have to deal with all of Charles's because Lori was back. Or
Let me ask you something else. Were you aware of when Charles met Lori, or they got married? Do you know if she worked?
She was a hairdresser. She did work as a hairdresser, and I don't know exactly when she quit working, but she didn't. I don't think she worked long. If she did, after they got married.
Okay. So for most of the time when you knew them to be married, you did not see her working outside the home?
No.
Oh, okay. Someone said that there are people on YouTube who actually read Charles's book. Reporting Live on My Sofa did a series reading. Oh, not Charles, Chad's book. I see Sofa Squad members in the chat. Oh gosh, Yeah, if you guys want to know more about the book and you just want to read it to you, so you don't have to read it by yourself and you have other people to laugh it with, check out the other YouTube channels. Have I seen Visions of Gloria? No, I have not. That's the one with Julie Rowe, then Chad Daybell ripped off. There was also influence of Jodie Hildebrand and Ruby Franke. No, I have not. I have not. I haven't even heard about it. Hey, Rosa, how are you doing today? How's it going? Barb, you attended DB's trial? Oh my goodness. I feel like I would have gone crazy. We didn't watch the entirety of the trial, but we watched the highlights, and whew, that judge, that poor judge.
Did Charles, I guess, work so she could stay home with the kids?
Yes, he was fine with being a one income, letting her stay home, tend to the kids, and he would be the moneymaker.
Now, I know that we've talked about Charles working in the area of financial planning. Did you know if Charles had a life insurance policy?
Yes.
That's something that, how did you learn about that?
Well, I mean, he had told my husband Larry and I years ago, he helped us acquire a $1 million life insurance policy for me and my husband each. And because he always had one and Lori had one. So that was nothing new or unusual to talk about.
Okay. At some point when you were helping Charles, when Lori had disappeared and Charles didn't know where she was, did you have a conversation with Charles about the beneficiary of his life insurance?
Yes, it was early February when I came here to help him with JJ, and he said, "Look, I'm going to take Lori off as beneficiary, and I'm going to put you as a beneficiary." And I was like, we talked about maybe a minute and a half about it, and I was like, okay, whatever. I really don't want to be that person, but okay. And I never followed up to see if he changed. I didn't know until I got the phone call after he was killed.
So the discussion you had of that change was during that time period when he couldn't find Lori, he had no idea where he was, and he was taking care of JJ?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you were helping him take care of JJ?
Yes.
So if something had happened to Charles during that time when Lori wasn't around, would you have taken care of JJ?
Yes, he would have come back to me and my husband.
So I want to kind of go to right around that July time period.
I wonder for the jury. I mean, I'm assuming they don't know about the murder trial, the other murder trial. I wonder if they're wondering. Wait a second, Kay doesn't have JJ, so what happened to JJ and Ty Lee? Maybe they're assuming that Lori's side of the family has JJ and Ty Lee.
Do you recall when was the last time? I'll start with when was the last time you saw your brother Charles?
That's a good question. Probably must have been in June.
And do you recall where that was or the
I think he came to
circumstances?
Lake Charles for the weekend.
Did you see JJ then?
Yeah, no. The last time I saw JJ was May 18th.
When was the last time you recall speaking or texting with your brother Charles?
He texted me the night before he was shot, and just, hey, I'm going to be in Phoenix tomorrow, and how's it going? And just a little short text, and I'm boarding the plane now, and I'll be back in Phoenix in a little bit. And then he told me a few other things he had planned, but that was not a big deal.
Did
Hey,
you think
Lauren.
he was going to Phoenix to just see JJ?
Yes.
Did you know anything about any type of intervention?
No, he never talked. If he did talk to me about it, and I'm pretty sure I would have remembered that. But no, I know that he and Adam was his confidant during that time, Lori's brother. And so I know that whatever he was doing, Adam was part of it. And, they were just, I knew he was in good hands with Adam, because Adam, they loved Charles, him and his wife.
Do you have any knowledge of Charles wanting to get a place here in Phoenix so he could be closer to JJ?
I don't remember that, but I can't remember that. I mean, I don't know.
No,
I can't
okay,
answer that.
that's okay. want to talk to you then about, so you talked to your brother, just kind of normal stuff before he got here to Phoenix. How did you learn that your brother Charles was dead?
It was on July the 12th. I was at a nail salon in Lake Charles, my granddaughter and I got a call from his oldest son, Cole, and he said, "Hey, what is going on? I just got a text from Lori, and she said Dad's dead." And I said, wait, what did you just say? And he told me again, and I said, something's wrong with that. That can't be true. And I said, have you tried to call her? And Cole's like, yeah, she won't. I'm trying calling, she's not answering. He was freaking out, and I was like, okay, Cole, just give me a minute. Let me think about this. Let me see, and I'll call you back. I promise, as soon as I can figure this out. So I'll call my husband to tell him, and he said, okay, well, I told him what Cole said, and he said, hey, let me call you back in a minute. And so I was still at the nail salon trying to get out of there, and he called and he said, he's dead. I Googled him, and he's dead. Alex killed him yesterday. And I mean, that was just like, it was horrible. I have to call my siblings and let them know. Thank you. And everybody was freaked out. I didn't know what to do. But I did call Cole back and let him know that it was true. And just was telling him, let's keep in touch. You find out something, I find out something, we'll let each other know. And
Did you try to reach out to Lori?
I tried calling, texting Charles. I tried calling, texting Lori. And at some point, she texted me. She returned a text, something like, I'm having to deal with a lot of stuff, and I'm busy. And she was too busy to even call his family to say that he was dead by her brother killing him. And
She was dealing with a lot of stuff. Laura is always the fucking victim. She's dealing with a lot of stuff. She couldn't even call Charles's kids to say that he died. She texted them. Wouldn't even tell the sister. And she's like, oh, no, I'm busy. No, she was too fucking busy trying to figure out when she was going to get the life insurance payment.
And
Take a breath. So you had tried to reach her, and she was too busy to talk to you.
yeah.
Did you ever, what was the burial plans? Did you ever get Charles back? What happened with him?
We ended up calling a detective, the detectives in Chandler, since that's where it happened. And we were able to speak to a detective, I don't know who, but we told them that I had already arranged us a flight for the next day. We were here by noon Saturday because I needed to know where JJ was. I didn't know what he had seen. I didn't know what he knew. I knew he would be, I knew it wasn't good. But I couldn't, we had to talk to the detectives before I did anything with Lori. And we had to wait till Sunday to meet with Nate Moffitt. And then when we talked to him is when.
Regarding Wendy's book, it was given to each and every new freshman to read. I think I heard about that. That's the only Wendy could have her book sold. It was a required reading. Yeah. Interesting. If one of the witnesses flat out said something specific about the Idaho trial, would it have been an immediate mistrial? Depends on how it was said. If it was like, for example, if Lori had asked a question that elicited a response that was like very relevant to it, I would have assumed that she opened the door. But it was the prosecutor. Yeah, that could be a huge major yikes for the prosecutor. You're in the hospital right now waiting on whether or not you're eligible for a double lung transplant. You're only 45 and scared to death. Holy shit. I'm so sorry to hear that. Double lung transplant. I hope everything goes okay. Oh, man. I hope you're eligible. I hope she gets hell here first. There's a special place in hell just waiting for Lori. Yeah, Lori's just like, she just in La La Land. See, Amber, that's how you perform on the stand. Oh God, we don't talk about Amber like that. We don't want to remember her on the stand, okay? Texted his sons to tell him, oh my gosh, yeah, she didn't even have the balls to call any of the family members. Like I said, she was too busy trying to get the fucking insurance payout, planning her life with fucking Chad.
And I told him about the life insurance policy and that Lori, that I didn't know if Charles had ever changed it to me like he said he was going to do. And so I didn't know, but I just knew we had to get JJ because he was not safe with her.
Let me stop you there. I'm going to go back to Charles. Where was Charles buried, or where was what was done with his remains?
Well, this was before Lori knew she wasn't getting the money. She had him cremated, and he was mailed. He was a FedEx or whatever over to my office, along with his Letterman's jacket from high school and a couple pair of cheap sunglasses and 1 or 2 watches. It was just a few little trinkets. And Charles had a watch collection, and she just sent some crap.
So she cremated him and FedExed him to you.
Yes.
Wow, that's so fucking devastating. When I got my dog's ashes, the company that did the cremation, they like drive it and they actually like hand deliver it to you. Imagine getting someone's fucking ashes in the fucking FedEx to your fucking work office. And then she's like, yeah, and I got like a bunch of shit, like a bunch of crap from him. Because you know what? She probably took those expensive watches. She probably sold them. Try to get some money. She probably just pawned them. What a piece of fucking shit.
Sent him to your work office?
Yes.
Now you're saying this is before she learned the life insurance policy was not going to be, she was not going to be the beneficiary. Did you set up like a service for Charles?
Yes. My family and I made arrangements for a memorial service to happen in Lake Charles on August the 3rd, which was, he was killed July 11th. So took us a little bit to put it together, but we did.
Yeah, and when I got my my little boy's cremation, his ashes, dude, I fucking cried. I was so sad, dude, because I was like, this is just him. This is what's left of him. I was so fucking sad. I fucking cried. But to get that in the fucking mail in the FedEx at your fucking work office, like.
Did you talk to Lori about having JJ come out for Charles's service?
I think the last time I talked to Lori was she told us that she wanted, I asked her, what can we do in Houston? I was trying to be nice because I knew she had something to do with his murder. And I'm not one that can just lie off the cuff.
Could that be objection, like here, speculation? That she was speculating that he had something, she had something to do with the murder? Oh, Lori, you're kind of quiet over there. Kind of quiet.
I'm not one that can just lie off the cuff. I'm a bad liar. And so when I did talk to her, and it was a long, awkward conversation I had with her, but I was like, what do you want us to do with that stuff at the house in Houston? But when we got to the house in Houston, and she did, yeah, y'all please go do what you want to do with it, see what Cole wants, y'all split it up, y'all take it.
She gave you permission to go to the
Yes.
house in Houston and take whatever was there?
Yes, and when we got there, none of Charles's personal belongings were there, nothing at all. And
She had already fucking took whatever was maybe valuable and then resold it. Or maybe she fucking re-gifted it to fucking Chad. Ugh.
that, I couldn't figure out why nothing of Charles's or JJ's was there. Or wait, nothing of Charles's was there. Just his business files and the big furniture, sofa, bed, stuff like that.
What a piece of shit.
So you went there, you did that. How did you, and you told us that you did not know for sure if your brother had ever changed the beneficiary from Lori to you. How did you find out if that was done?
I think it was the following week, a lady from Banner Life, that's who wrote the policy, a lady called and said that I was the beneficiary, I was the sole beneficiary, and you know, what was our address, and she wanted to verify a few things and to send out the check.
When I mailed my father's ashes because my sister wouldn't come to Tennessee to get them, even though she wanted them, I paid for cremation and I didn't even like the man. Yo, cremation is expensive. If I had to cremate, no. If I had to like, if there was a family member of mine that I fucking hated, you're not getting cremated. Okay, you're going into pet cemetery. I'm just kidding. I don't want to curse all the other pets that are trying to lay peacefully and then throw like a piece of shit in there. But yeah, cremation is expensive. And then I think actually I'm trying to wonder, because I wonder I remember if you die in a different state and to ship your body to another state for them to cremate it or to bury it, I know that's also very expensive. Wouldn't it just been better just to cremate it and then you ship the body over to the other state and that's where you can lay it to rest? Because I think that's what I had someone that died. I think all the family members came over to LA and then they probably had her cremated here and then brought the ashes back to the East Coast. I think. Yeah, super expensive. Super expensive. She has that Texas drawl. The airplane shipping from the morgue to the funeral home somewhere else is like monies. Yeah, every time when I watch the last episode of fucking White Lotus, I'm like, dude, that's gonna be so fucking expensive. Lori said that Tylee wanted to be cremated. It was like $5,000 to ship the body. Wow. I was defending my mailing because I wasn't driving to Texas. Makes me so sad because I know how the story ends. Yeah. Yeah. I bet you after this trial, the jury's probably gonna do some researching when it's over.
When you got that call, did you ever have Lori confront you about the life insurance policy?
Did I ever have Lori what?
Yeah, did Lori ever confront you about being the beneficiary
Oh.
for Charles's life insurance policy?
Yes. She didn't call and do it. She sent me a text one night, a picture or two of a screenshot. She took a screenshot of the change of beneficiary form with my name on it. And she said something to the effect of 5 kids and his sister gets all the money, or is that why you want JJ? Something to that effect, which it made no sense. I want JJ, period. That was a dumb statement by her.
So
That's her projecting. That was her fucking projecting. Because the only reason why she ultimately ended up wanting JJ is because of the payments that JJ was getting from the state.
So she told you again that she was left with these 5 kids, right?
Yeah, 5 kids. She had Colby and Tylee and JJ. And
at that
Colby was
time-
out of the house, so it was just Tylee and JJ.
So she's messaging you this, saying how upset she is because she has 5 kids to take care of.
Yeah.
And then she tells you that, is this why you wanted JJ to come to Charles's service?
No, I had already gotten the okay from her to come get him. I was going to fly here, pick him up, go back to Louisiana, keep him for a week and attend this, so he could attend the service during that time. And when she found out when she found the change of beneficiary form, she said that she was too busy. They were moving to Hawaii, and it would be too confusing for JJ to come, and he needed to be with her.
So after she found out and had confronted you about that change of beneficiary where you are now getting Charles's life insurance policy, she changed her mind and refused to let JJ go to Charles's service, his dad's service. After this,
Wouldn't even let JJ go to his own dad's fucking service. There was a tweet about that. When Kay said Lori wouldn't let JJ come to Charles' memorial service, all of the jurors turned and looked at Lori. I wish the fucking camera would turn and look at Lori as well, because I want to know. You know what? I like having like a close-up view of the witnesses testifying, but I kind of wish we just have like a zoomed out view where we could see everyone. We see the witness testifying, and then we could see like Lori there. We could see the attorney doing the questioning, like just like a zoomed out view. I don't know. Maybe like have 2 cameras or something. Oh boy.
this confrontation about Charles making you the beneficiary of the life insurance. After this confrontation about Charles making you the beneficiary of the life insurance policy, did that pretty much end most of the contact you had with Lori, other than you reaching out to talk with JJ?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
All right, Cross.
Boy.
You heard her say, "Oh boy." One of the things Lori argued for was when the camera would only be on the person speaking at that time. Yeah, let it zoom out so we can see the attorney asking the question, and we can see the person that's responding. Yeah, just zoom it out a little bit. Chad made bank on Tammy's life insurance. How much? I don't remember the numbers anymore, but how much money did Chad get from Tammy's life insurance? And also, does anyone know any update about Chad's kids? Because I know they were supporting their father. After the conviction, have they publicly spoke? Who's Monica Sementilli again? I thought Monica Sementilli was laughing. It was so fake. What was she charged with? I remember seeing her name on the news, but she also had her trial, right? Or something like that. All right, guys. I'm going to slow it down to real-time speed. We got cross-examination.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
All right, Cross.
Boy.
Here comes Lori. Sorry, I love saying that. All right, let me get a refresher. This is a camera for Mr. Judge. Witness. Okay. All right. I'd like my zoom ins.
Ms. Woodcock, where were you on July 11th, 2019?
At home in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Oh, God. This is just going to be the line of questioning was, were you there July of 2019? Was it videotaped? Do you know for sure that I conspired with my brother, Alex Woodcock, to murder Charles? She's just, I think that's the direction she's going. Boring. All right, here we go.
Were you aware at all of the relationship between Charles and Tylee?
It was, let's say, it was a bit contemptuous. It seemed like there was always a lot of drama going on, and so that's all I knew. He didn't say too much about it, and I didn't pry.
But you knew that there was some kind of contention going on with those two for
I
a
can't
while.
hear you.
I'm sorry. You did know that there was some kind of contention going on with those two for a while.
Yes.
Okay. And you weren't really aware of the events that happened that morning, were you?
The morning of
July
his
el-
murder?
Of July 11th?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
Because you didn't tell me.
Miss Wood.
Lori does not seem very prepared for this cross-examination. You know how she was like really fiery with some of the witnesses before, the ones that were like her former friends, or that lady that went on a date with Charles. She's I don't think she's prepared for this. Oh gosh. Woo! I love Kay's energy. Don't fuck with Kay. I love her energy.
Miss Woodcock, did you see or hear or personally witness me conspire with Alex Cox to kill my husband, Charles Vallow?
No, but I saw a ton of evidence that did.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, redirect.
Just briefly. You were asked about the relationship between your brother and Tylee. How old was Tylee when Lori and Charles got married?
She was 3, or right around 3.
So was Charles in her life for most of her like memorable years.
Yes, he was.
And how old was she in July of 2019?
She was 16. Yeah,
So a teenager.
yes.
In terms of their relationship, are you saying that Charles and Tylee never had good times?
Oh, I'm not saying that. I saw them have good times, and it wasn't, it wasn't that they couldn't look at each other, or, it wasn't like that. But, I mean, yeah, a teenage girl on one is hard anyway, but I do know that there was a lot of issues with her dad and Lori with her ex-husband and custody, and it was a mess. It was a mess.
So Tylee had a lot going on in her life,
Yes, she did.
and you would see her and Charles at times have difficulty getting along.
I never really saw anything that sticks out in my mind. But I just know he'd tell me how it was just difficult. And as a step parent, it can be very difficult. I can attest to that.
So on July 11th, when Charles Vallow was killed, did you actually have any idea that your brother was dead?
None at all. How would I know?
So in terms of you learning that your brother was dead, it was never from Lori
Or
Vallow.
from her.
It was,
It was from Google that my husband found.
thank you. I have no other questions.
Are there any questions for this witness from anyone on the jury? I don't see any questions. You could step down now.
Thank you.
What if one of the jury question was like, oh, so how come you haven't seen JJ since 2018? Or sorry, 2019?
Done. All right. Members of the jury, that's going to conclude trial for this week. No trial tomorrow. I'm going to try to start early on Monday and Tuesday only. So just to preview next week, I plan on, if you guys can all be here at 10 a.m., ready to start a little earlier than normal.
Don't be late, jury. We had that one juror that came like so late. I think on like day one.
Normals for Monday and Tuesday. And then Wednesday and Thursday we'll be back to the 10:30 a.m. All right. I'll remind you to remember the admonition and avoid any sort of information about this case that you do not receive from this, that's outside of this courtroom, I should say. All right. Thank you. We'll be at recess.
All rise to the jury.
You heard that Colby hug Kay when she got off the stand? Yeah, I think I saw someone tweeting that. Let's look at the tweets. Let's see. Oh, this is what I want to watch. Kay leaves, goes back to her seat where Colby gives her a hug. Judge reminds the jury that they'll start at 10 a.m. Wait, so is it a 6-week trial also because they're only doing Monday through Thursdays? Are we not doing Friday trials? What's going on here? What is going on here? And then for those of you guys who missed it, when Kay said Lori wouldn't let JJ come to Charles' memorial service, all of the jury or jurors turned and looked at Lori. Okay, so this is from Nate Eaton. This is Colby Ryan, who is Lori Vallow's son. Let's see what he says. I haven't watched this yet. Colby.
All right, Colby, what'd you think today?
A lot of emotions. Got to process that. Really weird to see her in person, and really just different to witness her in that state. It's hard.
Did you make eye contact with your mom at all?
Yeah.
And what was that like?
She smiled at me for 10 seconds, probably straight, uncomfortable, and confusing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
noticed at one point you were kind of trying to catch her eye when you walked in.
Yeah.
But she didn't know you were going to be here, right?
No, she didn't know. She had no idea I was going to be here. So I think I don't know when she saw me, but obviously I looked for that contact at first. I guess I never know what's going to happen with that. And yeah, it was just surreal.
What is it like sitting in the courtroom and having your family talked about it? JJ, Tylee, having Kay take the stand. I mean, Adam talking about the family dynamic.
It's surreal. It feels like a bad dream almost. It doesn't feel like real life, if I'm being honest with you. It mostly feels like, how could I put this? It feels like I'm watching it in third person almost, because it is.
I don't know if that's the link to his podcast or if his podcast is like on a different platform, but that's his YouTube channel.
It's so crazy, and that probably happened, crossed my mind 3 or 4 times, that I can't believe this is my family. I can't believe that's my mom, and I can't believe they're all here talking about the people that I grew up with in my direct family.
What have you thought about your mom questioning some of these witnesses over the past few days?
I've just noticed her attitude, how bad it is. I've noticed how rude she is, and I think more than anything, she's just disrespectful, and it's hard to watch anybody talk to other people like that. And yeah, I don't know how to gauge the fact that she's just rude. Yeah.
So you're gonna give more of your thoughts tonight on your channel or this weekend? Or?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Even though we sat there all day, I'm pretty tired. But I think it's exhausting. It's weird, but honestly, yeah, I probably will break down my thoughts tonight and really process this for the next couple hours, and then hop on and just talk about the experience for sure.
Good. So people can catch it. Tell everybody the name of your channel again.
YouTube channel name is Colby J. Ryan. So if you just put that on YouTube, you'll find it.
Anything you want to add?
No, that's it.
How old are you now?
I'm 29 now.
29.
Oh man.
All right, 29.
Oh man.
No, he's still a baby. 29 years old. That's a baby. I was talking to my brother and I was like, how old are you again? Because I keep thinking my brother is like in his like mid 30s or like late 30s. But he's like 31. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking baby. Get the fuck out of here. It's crazy because like when you're in your late 20s or mid 20s, like, or when I turned 21, I thought I was old. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting so fucking old. But like now when you're like looking back, you're like, no, you're like a fucking baby. Oh, yeah, he is a handsome man. You watched his recap last night? So sad.
All right, Colby, what'd you think?
Yeah. That's a lot to process. Yeah, that's a lot to process. That's like, you got to get into like therapist territory, you know? He's the same age as me. Colby's cute. His kids and wife are lucky people. Oh, wait, his kids and wife? Oh, I didn't know that. Everyone thinks their own childhood is normal when they're young. No, I knew my childhood was definitely abnormal. I thought my childhood was so abnormal that I was like, why am I the only fucking person who's dealing with like this weird ass shit? I knew my childhood was abnormal. I think it was until when I was in my late teens, it wasn't until I was in my, I think, early 20s that I realized, oh shit, a lot of people have really fucked up shit that they go through in their childhood, and that not everyone is perfect. So I always thought that like I was the only one that was just like dealing with like really weird shit. Because I would look around in my high school and be like, oh my God, everyone's like so fucking normal. You know, they probably have normal parents and stuff like that. But like, Oh man. Anyway, so apparently it was his birthday like a couple days ago. I'm not in my 20s. No, I'm like, bro, we about to hit 40s. Oh no, I keep rounding up. I think I always forget how old I am. I'm in like mid 30s, right? Yeah. It's weird because like when you get older, you forget how old you are. So I just round up or just like say like generalities, like, yeah, I don't know, I'm in my 30s. Like, I think we're going to be 40 soon, like, you know, something like that. But I've been telling people like, yeah, I'm going to be 40 soon. And then they're like, wait, how old are you really? It's like, oh, I still got a couple years. Oh, hey, Vince, how are you doing today? It's been a while since I've seen you. All right, guys. So that is it for today's Lori Vallow trial. So I guess they're not having trials on Fridays, or maybe that's just like the court schedule for now. But we will keep an eye out for next week. Let me just go over this again because in case you guys weren't here earlier, this is the witness list from Justin Lum. So shout out to him. He's also doing like live tweets in the courtroom. We're following Nate Eaton, Justin Lum, and Pretty Lies and Alibis. They are in the courtroom so they can get a visual of, you know, the juror's reaction and then maybe see and hear some things that we don't get to see and hear. But here is what it says over here. So there's no plea offer. Good. Don't fucking give her a plea. No settlement conference. Wow, this is really blurry. Is this blurry? This is blurry, right? Yeah, this is blurry. Defendant state not willing to discuss settlement. We have 12 plus 4 alternates, although I think 2 have already been dismissed. And then we have the list of people that are going to be testifying. So I'm going to go over the list again. This is for the state's witnesses. And, you know, I don't know if this is going to be a 6-week trial because, oh, wait a second. Hold on a second. No, this is not a death penalty case. Never mind. I was thinking maybe there's like 2 phases. So Chandler Police Department, we have Daniel Coons, who already testified. Nathan Duncan, I don't think so. Marissa Francisco did testify, and I think they were the cell phone person or the fingerprint person. There was like 2 that testified yesterday. William McDonald, I think William McDonald and Marissa, I think they testified yesterday. One was a cell phone person, and one was like a fingerprints person. Robert Crothheim, they testified. William McDonald, I said, testified yesterday. Nathan Moffat, have not heard from them yet. We've heard about them quite a lot. I don't know if they're like lead detective or something. There's Ariel Werther. I don't think we've heard from. Erwin Wurzbicki. I think we did hear from them. Cassandra, have not heard from them. Fire Department, Kent Keller, heard from him. Scott Cowden, heard from him. Department of Public Safety, Jeff Moberg, I don't think we heard from him. ME, Dr. Derek Baumgardner, have not heard from him. Inspector General Mark Sari, have not heard from him. Banner Life Insurance, Robert Smith Scott, Custodian of Records, have not heard from them yet. And then civilians, we've heard from all the civilians so far. So again, Christina Atwood and Serena Sharp were former friends of Lori Vallow. They were at an all-women's hangout retreat sort of thing where there was some weird shit that was being said from Alex Cox saying that he wanted to kill Charles over and over again. And then Lori apparently blurbed out that she was crushing JJ's pills to drug Charles and putting in his like smoothies. And one of them, actually, I think it was Christina Atwood, confronted Lori the next day. And Lori was like, I was just kidding. What do you mean? Don't be so serious. Adam Cox, we heard from. That is Lori's brother. The good brother. Everyone keeps asking, is Adam the good brother or the bad brother? The quote bad brother is Alex Cox, and Alex is the one who's no longer here. He's deceased. He's gone. But it is the assumption that Alex Cox is the one who's doing all the fucking murdering and the attempted murders. Actually, with the exception of Tammy, I think Tammy was completely through Charles. Not Charles. Chad. Yeah, Tammy was completely through Chad. Because there was some suspicious, shit with her death. And then Kay Woodcock, we just heard from. All right, guys. Estimate trial, 5 weeks. Oh, that said 6 weeks. But you know what? We were going through this pretty quickly. I think, yeah, we're going through this pretty quickly. Because as we're going through day 1, the witnesses were just boom, 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 boom. And it was just, it was really quick. There's not a lot of sidebars. There's not a lot of arguments. Because honestly, it's just, I don't think Lori knows what the fuck she's doing. The only reason why there's sidebars is because, Lori will try to argue with the judge a little bit. And she'll get really frustrated with the objection hearsay or I think she tried to object and said it was leading. And then the judge is like, no. So kind of tough, when you don't have a law degree and you're trying to represent yourself. Wild. So guys, again, for this week, I think I'm going to do a recap video of this week's trial. We're going to talk about the highlights, all the things that happened so far in this week's trial, and some of the little mini jury drama here and there. And then I think we're also going to do a recap video of the Koberger hearing that happened a couple days ago. So if you guys are not caught up with any of those, or you did listen to me in the, you did have my stream on and you just don't remember, or you just have me in the background, you weren't super paying attention, I think we'll do 2 videos this weekend. Yeah, I think so. Anyways, so if you guys are not caught up on other cases that we're covering Corey Richards, Donna Adelson, Lori Vallow, Lori Daybell, and then the Idaho 4 murders, and then Karen Reed's, her trial's coming up soon. We'll see what happens. I think they're still doing jury selection. I don't know. I thought her trial was going to happen maybe like next Monday, but I don't know if they were able to select everyone. All I know is that Karen Reed had she was trying to stop this retrial for a little bit because they wanted to, what was going on again? She wanted to halt jury selection because something was going on with her and the Supreme Court, but then that ended up being rejected. So I think they're going to resume with jury selection. That's all I know from that. All right, guys. Anyways, yeah, pro se. Aren't we glad that Sarah Boone wasn't pro se? I'm so glad that Sarah Boone was not pro se. I know you guys were like, I want this shit show. I want to see it go down with Sarah Boone. I was like, no. I don't want Sarah Boone to do pro se. Like, usually, with Lori Vallow, I don't mind her doing pro se because we already know what a fuck up she is, right? With other court cases, I kind of just wanted to move along smoothly, right? I don't want like all these hiccups and stuff like that. So with Lori Vallow, I mean, honestly, we're just really just watching it for entertainment reasons. It's not like, oh, we're trying to figure out whether or not she killed Charles, whether or not she's, you know, responsible, whether or not Alex did it. It's like, yeah, she fucking killed all these people. She did it. Anyways, usually when I watch trials, I would usually give the defendant like benefit of the doubt, right? Benefit of the doubt, give them a chance to explain their side of the story, not make assumptions. But with Lori Vallow, the patience level is just not there. I'm just gonna admit it to you guys, it's just not there. Is Karen Reed out on bail? She was never out. She was never incarcerated or anything like that. She's been out. But yeah, anyways, guys. So I will see you guys. I hope you guys have a good one. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. And tomorrow I'm gonna take Shiro on a herding instinct test. So I'll let you guys know if Shiro fail or pass the herding instinct test. Apparently they're gonna have Shiro try to herd like these like 3 sheeps, and I'm gonna take some videos for you guys. He's actually sitting here. Oh, you guys can see him. Shiro, you wanna say hi? Come here, buddy. Hey, you can he's so short that you can there you go. You can see him a little bit. You can see his ears. He's a short king. Okay, well, he says hi. Anyways, y'all, I hope you guys have a good one. Enjoy your weekend and take care. Stay